Okay, so I just bought this 2002 Ford E150 Econoline van. It's in fantastic condition. We actually got to take it on a road trip once already. We went to take it over to a neighbor's the other night, and when we tried turning on the air conditioner, the air was getting cold, but the blowers at the vent wouldn't blow, only the defrost would. So I did a little research and found out that on these E150 vans and probably many other Ford vehicles, if your vacuum line is broken or has a leak in it, then it defaults to the defrost blower so that you at least get a blower on your windshield. I think that's for safety reasons, so that it doesn't fog up. So I've already taken the housing out, right here where the center console is. And then the next part is to find where the vacuum line is. There's the vacuum line right there. Okay, so I have weak girl hands here, so I had to really struggle to pull this apart, and I used a couple pliers. But you can see these two lines are held together. It's all one continuous line, but it's got this little piece right here. That's just a coupler. We'll hold on to that in case we need it. That little piece out, set it aside, that little coupler. And this van's actually in remarkable condition considering it's an 18-year-old van. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get this out from behind here. Okay, that was definitely a two-handed operation, mainly because this little tip right here didn't want to slide through there. So it's going to take both hands to do. It's not difficult, but you have to push this back in order to be able to slide it through that opening. So once you do, just get it here so that it's right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it through to the inside compartment. Okay, so we come around to the cab of the van, and you're going to want to look. Right, so I see we got you want to look to see where that red vacuum line comes through. So I'm going to go back and reach back through here. You can see it's got the covering around it. This is what I had just pushed through from the other end. I'm going to pull that through. See, this is the one that I took off underneath the hood. So I got that. Okay, so now I want to make sure that that there's not a leak in this, because if there's a leak in this hose, then this hose isn't going to work for us to use. So let's see here. I'm going to check it for a leak. Okay, so we've got two vacuum hoses. One white one there, and we've got the black one that comes to the firewall. And you can see that it goes up in here. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. There you go. It goes and attaches up to there. But let me see if I can get a clear picture. There we go. Anyway, it attaches up there, but somewhere between that hose and the vacuum hose that we have, it's not making a connection. It's probably a valve is out. It's very difficult to get up in there. So this is kind of a half-assed quick fix, but one that I'm capable of doing. So what I did was yanked it and pulled it until it came apart from what I'm pretty sure is the check valve. So what that gives me now is this section of line, and it also, gives me this section of line. It also gives me this little gasket here, and it gives me a connector. So the next thing I'm going to try and do is see if I can connect these two together with that connector that I saved earlier and see if that will give me the vacuum that I need. Okay, so I used our connector that I saved from the front, and I connected those two together, and I'm going to test this out before I go any farther. So I've got my AC turned on, I got my blower motor turned on, and I'm going to start it up and see if we've got check it. We've got a blower. Yay! Oh yeah, I put gloves on because I was getting my nails dirty. Okay, so now here's going to be my half-ass shortcut that I got from this guy in Florida who did this. By the way, I'm not taking credit for any of this knowledge. I watched someone else's video. The only reason I'm doing this is just to show my daughters and my son that if you watch enough YouTube videos, you can figure just about anything out on your own. So I've got my connection. I'm gonna have to take that apart, but I want to be able to put this housing back on here. Obviously, we don't want any fumes escaping into the driving compartment, so we need something we can run it through. I could drill a hole, but I'm not gonna. So I'm gonna do what this guy did. I'm gonna take out this bolt right here, which is, I'm sure, necessary to a certain degree, but a little bit redundant. It just is a bracket to hold this in here. And I think I'm going to be able to use this gasket right there to make sure that there is a tight fitting. We'll see. Oh, also, that is a 10 millimeter socket right there. So let's see. Okay, so the part where I pulled it through the firewall last time here is connected up there, and I've got my hole where I took out the bolt, and then this needs to run through there, but as you can see, it's gonna be just a little bit too short. So part of that was because I had to remove this part off of there. I could have cut it a little bit longer, but while I was trying to manhandle it, this is where it broke off. So anyway, I went and bought some tubing, vacuum connectors, and more vacuum connectors. So all this together at AutoZone cost right around $18. So let's see where I need to go next with this. Okay, you saw what I had here just a minute ago. How this was more like this, and this went through there. I cut this edge off, and this just went to right about there. So I pulled that off. I'm gonna see if I can reuse this and run it through rather than having multiple connectors. Okay, here's where you get to see exactly how cheap and resourceful I am. So I ran that vacuum tubing that I had, I ran it through this hole, and then the other part of that piece that I'd taken off the end of it, I put it on it backwards, and I'm going to use this when I put this back into the hole. I'm going to use that as a gasket so that we don't get any vapor back into the cab of the vehicle. Okay, so now I've got a vacuum connector on this side and a vacuum connector on that side. I haven't figured out yet if I'm supposed to put something in there to make this a permanent connection, but in order to get them on, you're going to need to moisten the tubing. Either wet your fingers and stick it in there, or spit on it. Either way, it will slide right in. Okay, I've got them connected together now. I'm a little bit concerned that I may have crimped this part here while I was trying to stuff it in the connector. I may have to cut that off and try it again, but I'm going to start it up, see how the connection is. Got air. So actually, when it was all said and done, I didn't need either of these, so I can return those to the store. So this repair cost me $4.99, and I got a few little leftover vacuum connectors in case I ever need them again. Okay, getting this central console housing back in is definitely a two-hand and at least 1 foot job. So you kind of have to tilt it and put the top in first and get it up under the lip and around these sides, and then kind of hold it in there. And then I just gave this a kick here slowly at a time and just worked it back in there until I got it in. Then put this down on my head, make sure that clip is clipped on there, put it back on, and do the same on the other side. Somewhere in the life of this otherwise very clean van, apparently somebody spilled a soda back in behind here. So this whole thing and all along here was covered with sticky, syrupy soda residue. So my OCD side is very happy to know that the area of my car that I will never see is clean. All right, so we've got those 2 hooks right there, that one down there, and that little latch. We got to get them back on here. Obviously it's going to be another two-handed operation, and I'm assuming that I'm going to be able to just force it back on the way I forced it off. Surprisingly enough, I actually got that on the very first try. Then go down here, hook that to the bottom of that, clamp it down, and same on the other side. I'll start up one more time just to prove to myself that I really did it.